Hi there, welcome to Camping Secrets. I'm Marky Mark. I've been sent this S300 power pack from the brand AllPowers, and I've tested one of their power packs in the past. It was the S200, the smaller version of this, and I came away a bit sort of in two minds really. I loved the size of that S200, but when it came down to it, I didn't like the long charge time of around 5-6 hours. And I didn't massively find that the inverter on it could power things that I wanted it to power. It was a 200 watt inverter, and I had a 100 watt LCD TV, and it wouldn't even power it. And I just don't know what was going on with that inverter. So I'm very interested to test the bigger brother, the S300. It's a completely different form factor. This is more like a Ecoflow River or Bluetti EB3A kind of size power pack. It's a 300 watt inverter and 288 watt hours of battery. So this is what you get in the box. Let's open it up. So you get a little bag of goodies, always like these with your cables. And this is straight out as it arrived through the post. So the first thing to notice is you get a power brick, whereas, you know, Ecoflow River 2 is plugged straight into it, none of this power pack. The Ecoflow's also got much faster charge time than the S300, and in some places it's actually cheaper as well. So, you know, the AllPowers is up against stiff competition. It's a really highly competitive little niche of power stations, this. You know, it's the area where people are buying more and more because it's sort of more of an impulse purchase. This retails on Amazon or on AllPowers' website at £249.99 at the moment. You know, and the Bluetti and the River 2, the Ecoflow, are in that ballpark, around the 250, maybe a little bit less actually. But, you know, it's nicely packed. So you've got instruction booklet. And then let's open this up. Polystyrene. It really is snugly packed. Can't see it getting damaged in transport, so that's a positive. Here is the S300. First thing that strikes you is it's a good size. I have got the River 2, and I'll do a direct comparison with the River 2. First thing to note, wireless charging on the top, and then handle. So that's nice. 2 plugs on the front, 240 volt, 220 to 240, DC output, AC output, and then just a simple on-off switch. On the side, we've got 3 standard USB-A's. So they're your 12 volt variety. And then there's a USB-C. And this is a 100 watt USB-C. And it's a dual purpose one. So you can charge this power pack via the USB-C if you don't want to use the mains. And I believe you can charge at the same time, so you could charge via USB and via the mains to speed up the charge time, and that's the same as they had on the S200. Right, I'm going to start testing this, just powering some things in the house, and then I'll look at charge time. We've got the solar panel as well with this, so this is the SP027 100 watt AllPowers solar panel. It's quite late in the day today. Probably won't be able to do any solar charging, but over the course of my testing, I'll get to grips with that and see how it performs. Anyway, let's dig into this. So I've got the S300 here, and the first thing I wanted to do was turn it on, but it appears that it's flat as a pancake straight out of the box, which is disappointing. I'd normally hope that they keep these sort of topped up But obviously they don't know how long they're going to be sat in the box, and over time they do sort of leak in terms of capacity. I need to charge it up. Before I do that, I just wanted to compare and contrast the S300 with the Ecoflow River 2. In terms of dimensions, the Ecoflow is a bit bigger, I think. And I know for a fact that the Ecoflow uses lithium iron phosphate battery technology. I've got a feeling the S300 doesn't use lithium iron phosphate. AllPowers don't say what batteries it uses, but it does say in the instructions, which I have here, that after 800 charge-discharge cycles, this would probably be kaput. And I know lithium iron phosphate can be discharged many more times than 800. So my guess is this is, the older lithium NMC battery technology. And that explains why this is a smaller power pack than the River 2. And yet this has got more capacity. This is 288 watt hours and this is 256. So in terms of size, in terms of capacity, the S300 beats the River 2. Where this is not so good is the charge time. And they quote around 4 to 5 hours of charging this up. And I'm gonna do that now, I think. So this is the mains charger. So that goes into the wall. And then it's got this is a 20 volt transformer. So you've got 20 volts coming out, that goes in, and that's 5 amps. So 20 volts and 5 amps is 100 watts. So you've got a maximum input power for charging of 100 watts. And obviously you've got almost 300 watt hours. So at a minimum, you're gonna be charged in 3 hours. But there's always a little bit of efficiency loss with these power bricks. And that's why it's pushing up over 3 hours, towards 4 or 5 hours. Well, let's plug it in anyway. And then plug this into the S300. Oh, we get a little beep. Lights have come on. Yeah, so the battery is flat as a pancake. Let's measure charge time. So let's start off the stopwatch. And Bob's our uncle. So the display does show input power. And at the moment it's saying 55 watts going in. And you'd expect up to 100 watts with 5 amps, 20 volts. The power is going up, it's ramping up. So that's 59 watts now. So there's presumably some form of BMS, battery management system there. Oh, power's dropped again there to 33. So we'll come back once that's fully charged and I'll let you know what time I've got to go from 0% to 100%. This is one area where the Ecoflow is on another level. This fully charges in about an hour. It's got ultra fast charging, no brick, you just plug directly in. So Ecoflow win on charge time, no doubt about it. Right, we'll see you soon. So it's been charging just over 1 hour, 5 minutes. And we're at 47% battery. This actually seems to be charging quite quickly. 54 watts going in. Around 56 minutes remaining. So the S300 went from 0% to 100% in about 3.5 hours, which seems remarkably quick considering the instructions say it should take around 5 to 6 hours. And just a simple look at the amount of power that was going in, it was about 50 watts. 288 watt hours going at 50 watts should be over 5 hours. So how it was fully charged in 3.5 hours, I don't know. So it either means it wasn't fully discharged or it hasn't fully charged, even though if I turn this on now, it says 100% battery. To get to the bottom of this, I've got my trusty power meter here. What I'm just going to do is go from 100% down to 0%, well, an indicated 100%. I'll power this coolbox, so a typical sort of camping application. And this power meter will record exactly how much juice gets taken out of this, powers this, and then when it finally conks out, I can see how much power has been used here. And you know, the nameplate power capacity is 288 watt hours. I'll be very interested to see how close to that 288 we get. Right, so let's plug this in here. We're going to use the AC. So you basically turn on the AC here. AC is on. The fans come straight on, so that is something worth pointing out with this power pack. Whenever you turn the inverter on to get AC power, fans turn on. Not that loud, but even with no load, it is there. Right, let's get this drawing some power. Coolbox is activated. And we're drawing 60 watts. Right, so let's get the power meter going. I'll come back in an hour or two and see where we are with this and how much battery is left. It gives an indicated 3 hours, 16 minutes at this rate of discharge. Been going about an hour and 20 now, and we're down to 70%. But seems to be performing really well. And we've used up about 60 watt hours. So the S300 is now completely drained from the cool box, and the cool box was drawing about 50 watts. So I'd say for a 300 watt power station, that's a reasonable amount. It's the sort of power that you would want to use this for. So it lasted a few hours, but my power meter showed that it drew a total power from this battery pack of 180 watt hours. Now, you know that the nameplate capacity of this is 288 watt hours, but as I say, I only managed to extract 180 watt hours. And if you work out the efficiency of that, 180 divided by 288 times 100 is 62.5% efficient. This is one of the most inefficient power packs that I've tested. You know, previously the worst is around 70%, but 62.5% is very, very low indeed, unfortunately. It's not something I like to report, but I've got to give you the facts, and that is what it's done. Now, you could argue when you're running at a low power, a 50 watt, you're sort of close down to the, you know, the phantom charge of the device. You know, all these devices have to use power to run. So for example, the fans, the inverter, all the electronics inside, that all takes power. And if the item that you're powering is close in power to that, in effect, it really hits your efficiency. Whereas if I used a higher power, say 200 watts, you may not have seen that draw and may get a better efficiency as a result. So I'm going to charge this up again. I want to do a few experiments while I'm charging. I want to use the solar panel, see if I can get 100 watts in. Got a little bit of sunshine over here now, so I'm going to do that now. See how quickly that gets charging. And then I also want to test, can I power a device while it's being charged? I think that's a useful thing. So let's get on with that. So we're getting a lovely bit of late summer sunshine. Absolutely scorching today, about 27 degrees. So this is the SP027 solar panel made by AllPowers. And on the back, got a panel that opens up with the various cables inside. So that's MC4. And have we got converters? Yes. So we got an MC4 to Anderson converter here, which we need to use because the power pack's got a Anderson input for your solar input. So we just need to switch across from the MC4. So let's take these MC4s, plug them in, and then we've converted into the Anderson. So then let's get these legs up while we got the sun. It's the usual, the legs on the back, Velcro style. So while it does this, it might be a good idea to look at the Bluetooth app. So let's put the Bluetooth on now. So we do have you can connect to this power station via Bluetooth. Let me just show the button there. So we have the AC out, we have the DC out, and then there's this button here which is Bluetooth. Hold that down. We get the little Bluetooth symbol. You can see now some power coming in, 26 watts from the solar. But you know, it's a 100-watt panel this. We've got bright sunshine and we don't have more than 26 watts. It's slightly disappointing. Right, let's fire up the app. Right, so this is the AllPowers app. Let's see if we can now connect to it. So let's look for a Bluetooth device. We've seen that, let's use that. Oh, it's found it. That's great, it's a straight in. So you can see here, we are charging. We have 14 watts going in, which is peanuts. It really is peanuts. Got bright sunshine on here. It's a slightly disappointing showing this with this solar panel. 16 watts, not brilliant. Let's flick through the app here. So you can turn on your outputs, which is nice, pretty standard. There are two LED lights on the S300, so you can turn them both on from here, which is nice. I'll show that on the screen. So turn those on from the app. Pretty cool. Yeah, I just wish there was more power going in from the solar. Don't know really what to do about that. So that was slightly disappointing with the solar. I got a best input power of 30 watts from really bright sunshine. I tried it with two connectors, the Anderson and also the DC adapter. Neither of them got much above 30, and for most of the time under 20. And I just know with that amount of sun that, you know, other solar panels, other power packs would get more than that. So yeah, it's another test that I'm not very impressed with. The app seems reasonable, so that's good. I'm going to charge this up now, and I'm going to use the mains adapter again. But this time I'm going to augment the charging with USB power as well. So I'm going to plug. I've got a USB-C. This was sent by AllPowers as well. It's their PD65 watt adapter. So that's a USB-C. And what you can do with the S300 is plug it in with its own power pack and then add in additional charge through the USB input that it's got on the side here. So I'm going to do that and then measure the time to charge. While it's going, I want to see if I can power something, the coolbox, at the same time as charging, because I think that's quite a useful function, and I'll show that on the app. Right, let's get this going. We plug the USB in here, and then switch both on. 44 watts, 52, 61, 70, 79, 89, 93, 97. Okay, so we're up to max input power. Let's set the stopwatch going. While that's going, let's have a look at the app. Okay, so we actually have 127 watts now going in. So this should be really fast charging. It doesn't give an estimation of the charge time, so that's worth pointing out. It says how much battery is left if you were using it. But no charge time estimation. While it's going, I just want to power up the coolbox and see if it can drive something while it's charging. So let's do that. AC's on. Let's plug that in. Yeah, so the coolbox is powered up and we're charging. Can we see that on the app? Yes, 127 watts going in, 57 watts going out. So that's a good result. Let's turn our attention now to what you can power with the S300. So let's get the AC on, and here we got an Xbox 360 and a TV. So the sort of thing you might want to power up if you're going through a mains outage or something. So let's hold down that AC. Now remember that that fan spools up when the AC inverter's on, which some people might not like. So I've got two plugs down here for this little game system. Let's plug it in to one of them. And the other one. Alright, let's see if that's working then. I can definitely hear that fan, but I'm guessing when the sound's up with the game, you might not notice it. Let's just turn on the Xbox. Well, the TV's working. Oh, there we go. So that's all being powered now off the AllPowers. That's drawing 160 watts there. Yeah, great. Yeah, so that's working. Really cool. Thumbs up. Got a range of office gear here, got a laser printer, shredder. Let's just plug it all into the AllPowers. One thing I've noticed, once you're plugged in, it's really hard to read the screen. So you presumably need to use the app there. Printer's powered up. Drawing about 50 watts there. That's really cool. Let's try the shredder. Give that a thumbs up. Bing! So one of these bars on this halogen heater is 400 watts. So this is a 300 watt inverter on the S300. So it shouldn't work and it will probably trip out. But let's just check that it does. Let's turn that off. Get the heater, plug it in. This will probably trip the S300. Oh, it's working. Wow. 358 watts, but it's doing it. Wow. That's the first thing that this power pack has done that has impressed me. I didn't think it would be able to flex above the 300 watts, but it's done it really well. Yeah, definite heat there, 350 watts. Fantastic, thumbs up. Just plug my guitar amp in to the S300. So let's just see, will it work? What sort of noise it generates. So the amp doesn't drop much. 14 watts. It's actually pretty silent. Yeah, so really silent actually. There's no buzz being picked up from the amp from the power station. The only noise I can hear are the fans again of the S300. So that's an excellent result because I've used more expensive power packs that have created a buzz on the amp. So yeah, really silent that. Right, let's give you the good, the bad and the ugly with regards to the AllPowers S300. Firstly, the good. I love the size of this little power pack. It's a really great little pack. I like the handle, really rugged. You can just easily lift this around. So top marks for form and function. Wireless charging on the top, nice little addition. And inputs and outputs, fairly respectable. We've got two 3-pin 240 volt outputs. That's a 300 watt inverter. And I was amazed to see that it flexed above 300 watts, which the S200 couldn't do. And it had no problem powering stuff over 300, well, around 300 watts, 200 watts, even electronics. Powered my guitar amplifier, worked really well, no buzz at all. So I was surprised. I was really surprised by that. And to power that heater, 400 watt heater, the bar on the halogen heater, fantastic. It's got Anderson input there for the solar, and then a standard DC adapter for mains plugging in. You could also augment that with the USB-C input, and that's also a 100 watt output, which is great for laptop charging. Then you've got 3 USB-A's, fairly standard, but nice to see. And you have some regulated 12 volt outputs as well. So yeah, pretty good on inputs and outputs. Also on the side here, you've got a cigarette charger output, 12 volt, 10 amp. That's not regulated, but still good to see. You can power your coolbox with that, or you can use the inverter, of course. On top of that, we've got lights, 2 lights, which is nice. And with the app, you can turn them both on together, and the app is, another selling point of this. It uses Bluetooth, and so you can monitor everything going on with the S300 via the app, and that wasn't a feature on the S200. Okay, so they're the good points. I mean, where does it fall down? Well, sadly, there are some areas where it's just not competitive with the best on the market at the moment. Firstly, charge time. I mean, I was quite surprised to get it from 0 to 100% in about 3.5 hours. And then it was even a little bit faster than that when I doubled up on the inputs. But the fact is, I just don't like the way you charge this thing. I don't want to really use USB-C to charge it. And 100 watts is the maximum input power that you can put in. And I think that's a little measly when you look at the competition. If you want to do mains charging, you need that power brick, whereas the competition, you can just plug straight in with the kettle lead, which is a far superior solution. But the downside of doing that is you need a bigger box to do it. And the S300 is really small. I don't think it uses lithium iron phosphate battery cells, and that is one of the reasons why it can be so small. So AllPowers say these batteries will last around 800 charge-discharge cycles, which, to be frank, is at the bottom of the range of what's available on the market these days. So I'm guessing it's NMC batteries, but for camping applications, I think the battery technology is probably good enough. I wouldn't worry too much about that, especially for the price. Let's go on to the price. So yeah, this is £250 at the moment in the UK. I think for what you're getting there, that's a little overpriced because of that long charge time. And you know, you can pay a little bit less for, say, the Ecoflow River 2, the Bluetti EB3A. They've both got faster charging and, you know, similar sort of capacity. So, you know, I think it is losing out a little bit to those power packs. The other thing to mention with the charging was the solar performance. I used the SP27 100 watt solar panel in really blazing sunshine, and I was not able to get more than about 30 watts input power. This was a 100 watt panel, and I frankly could not get any more light on that panel if I tried. It's 27 degrees today, scorching temperature for the UK, and 30 watts just doesn't cut it. And I don't know where the problem was there. Don't know if it was a bad connection. I don't know if the solar panel is not that efficient or I was doing something wrong. Either way, it wasn't clear why I couldn't get that power and what to do about it. And I've used loads of panels in the past and loads of power stations. So my guess is it couldn't deliver more, and I don't know why. The panel itself seems reasonably well made. I do find the legs at the back a little bit short, and I couldn't angle it up close to vertical. It had to be back at around 45 degrees. So in the UK, when the sun gets low in the sky and you want to angle up that panel to meet it perpendicularly, I couldn't do it with those legs. So that was a disappointing experience. The other thing to mention here is, yes, this has got a higher capacity on paper, 288 watt hours, but I got nowhere near that when I was running my coolbox. I got about 180 watt hours, which is a really low efficiency of about 62%. If anything is going to be an ugly spec, it's 62% efficiency. I mean, basically, it doesn't matter that it says it's 288 watt hours. You're not getting anywhere near that in actual usable capacity. Just driving a coolbox, which is a pretty typical application. My guess is this has, you know, quite a high parasitic draw. The fan is on all the time. So as soon as you start the inverter up with the AC button there, the fan comes on. That's going to drain the battery, and that is why your efficiency is really low. And for that reason, I cannot massively recommend this. If you see it in a sale for maybe 200 or even lower, then I would consider it. But for the same price, you can go for the Ecoflow River 2, and I think you've got a superior battery pack there. That being said, if size is your main criteria, then this does beat the Ecoflow on that. And I was impressed that it powered over the 300 watts. So it does have things going for it, but that long charge time and that efficiency, for me, just pushes it below the best on the market at the moment. Anyway, I hope that's been fairly useful. Please like and subscribe to the channel. We give independent reviews here, and yeah, even though this was sent to us by AllPowers, I think it's clear that we are not blowing smoke up anyone's posterior with these reviews, because, you know, I could easily say this is a great power pack, and, you know, and it's okay, but it's not that great. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've been Marky Mark. Bye for now.